Hello, everyone. Listen, it is Transformational Tuesday, and I got a question for you. What if you've been performing for a seat at the table? And guess what? You are already invited to sit at it. Most of us aren't tired because we're doing too much, you guys. We're tired because we're trying to be too much just to feel like we belong. We've been living like enough is something that we earn. But here's your reminder: you don't have to prove what God already confirmed. You are enough. Now live like it. We are wrapping up. We are wrapping up the Rise series. And this week we're talking about embracing your enoughness. Listen, stop proving and start embracing, because you're already enough. You're already enough. Like the thumbnail says. Like the thumbnail says, you don't have to earn rest. You don't have to hustle to be held. Listen, here's our affirmation. I no longer perform for my worth. I protect my peace and move with knowing that I am already enough, because you don't have to hustle to be held. Listen, you were never meant to live your life trying to prove your worth. Not through hustle, not through performance, or through perfection. So in today's life lesson, it's all about letting go, right? I'm here to really help you reclaim your right to be held without performing, to rest without guilt, and to really walk in rooms knowing that you already belong. You don't become worthy by achieving more. You become whole when you stop performing for whatever that is. All right, whatever that is. So here's my question for you. What if your exhaustion isn't from doing too much, but from trying to be too much? All right. What if your exhaustion doesn't isn't from doing too much, but from trying to be too much? And what if you stop proving and just allows yourself to be? My why for today's session. All right. Listen, I know too many people. I've worked with too many people who feel who has been stuck in performance mode. I'm gonna say it like that. Like, I've worked with so many people who are stuck in mode. They think that their worth is in their work. They think that their worth is in their love of their labor, and they think their worth is in their identity. All right. In this identity, um, in some way, these things will keep them together. Listen, I want to help you unhook your value from your output, right? Your input from your output. All right. And know that your input is all about you, right? And really help you anchor the truth that you are already enough. Here's the disclaimer for today. This isn't about doing less for the sake of it. It's about just being more of who God created you to be, really, right? It's just about being more of you without apology and without proof. All right. It's about giving yourself the grace to really stop performing for love, for the love that you already have, to stop performing for the acceptance that you already have to have inside of you. This lesson is truly here just to activate that. So good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome back. It's Transformational Tuesday, and we're starting another week, right? Embrace your enoughness. This is the end of the Rise series. All right. We're wrapping up the Rise series. The first week we talked about release the grip of fear. That was the the I was interrupt guilt and internalized expectations. Last week, we talked about surrendering to perfectionism. And this week, we're talking about embracing your enoughness. All right. So I want to welcome you back to Life Lessons. I'm Dr. Sheila Little, a clinical therapist for 20 years, creator of Stop It Now Method, and I am your emotional strategist and business therapist. All right. I'm your emotional strategist and business therapist. Life Lessons is a part of Project Life, and Project Life is where we turn theory into practice. So I want you to drop a word in the chat. Let me know how you're feeling while we scan our body. Okay. It's it's afternoon, right? So we've done a lot. So let's just take a deep breath, really feel our feet on the floor. All right, up our legs, just scanning our bodies, bringing some compassion, thanking our bodies for getting us through this day, right? And then also some gratitude, right? for the future, for the remainder of the day, right? So up our legs, filling our butts in the seat if we're standing up, right? Up our spines, just giving some compassion to our organs, filling our heart space, right? Just kind of letting some compassion and love come into our hearts or flow from it, right? Flow from our hearts, right? The weight on our shoulders, let's kind of feel that evaporating, right? Evaporating off of us, down our arms, activating our hands, right? Up our face, right? Filling our face, our nose, our lips, our mouth, our eyes, right? And then our ears, right? Making sure that we are moving the space from around our ears, right? Kind of clearing the space from around our ears, all right? And the top of our heads, all right? Just giving some space to the top of our heads, to the top of our heads. I am on the side of the camera, so let me move. All right, so who is this session for today? Who is this session for today? This session is for you if you feel like rest has to be earned. It's for you if you struggle with validation unless you're performing. And this is for you if you feel unseen unless you're being useful. All right. Our powerful quote again: you don't have to earn rest. You don't have to hustle to be held. All right. So let's talk about it. Somewhere we started to confuse our doing with our being. And if you work with me and you're one of my clients, you already know that I'm like, we be, we do, and then we have. And a big part of this project is really helping you to be you so that you can do the things that you need to do to have the life that you want. All right. And it's in that order. So again, somewhere we started to confuse doing with being. We were taught that if you give more, right, that you'll be loved more. If you fix everything, then you'll be safe. And if you prove yourself enough, that you will be worthy. But that's not identity. That's anxiety in disguise. And it's time to really come home to this truth that you are already enough. So today is all about, or this week is all about embracing your enoughness, not because of your performance, not because of what you can offer, but because of who you are. Now, I know that there may be a voice inside of you that's saying, but I need to be more. I need to do more. I need to forgive more. I need to do that before I'm enough. Well, a big part of it is just you being enough. And then we can work on what you need to do. But we really need to heal this space. And so today we're talking about the love of self and really accepting your enoughness right now, right? And then listening to everything that's coming up that's combating that, and really seeing that as your nervous system really trying to keep you safe, right? So it's telling you what it feels like or what it's been programmed to tell you to keep you doing more and being more, right? Because that is what you taught it to do. And now we're reprogramming that nervous system to really see and accept you for who you are and who you always have been in your beingness, all right? And then we can go back to doing so we can have the relationships, right? The life that we want, the love of self that we want, the interactions with others, the focus that we want, and the energy emotions that we want, right? Which will yield a harvest that is of abundance for you. Okay. So I once knew a woman who shared with me, if I'm not consistently helping, I feel invisible. You know, we dug deeper and really discovered that she was praised for being the strong one her entire life, you guys, but never really seen when she had but was never really seen when she had her needs, when she had her own needs for herself. So her healing started the moment she stopped proving and really started to embrace. And I see this a lot with men and women, right? Just being the strong one, being everything for everybody else, doing everything. And then it's kind of like this resentment builds up because you need love too, right? You need to be supported too. You need encouragement too. And those times it's like, well, where is everybody for me? I have nobody to really help me, right? Which can be paralyzing, which can start the procrastination and the self-sabotage and really not allow the wound, right, to really heal so that you can start working from your space. And I just would say that a big part of that is because you're teaching your nervous system, right? You're telling the nervous system, hey, skip over me, because you're skipping over you to do everything for everybody else. And so embracing your enoughness is saying, hey, I'm enough to do all of these things, but I am also enough to ask for help. I'm enough to get support. I'm enough to rest, right? I'm enough to to have a season, right, of winter, to have a season of fall, right? I don't have to be on all the time. And I'm still worthy in my winter season. I'm still worthy in my fall season when my leaves are falling off, right? I'm just not worthy when I have a harvest to give, right? And at those times, I can be covered, right? I'm worthy of being covered. I'm worthy of being loved. I'm worthy of being supported. All right. So here's our mirror moment after that. I want you to pause and I want you to think, not overthink, but to just get honest. Where in your life have you been trying to earn what God already gave you? Where have you over explained just to feel understood? Where have you overworked just to feel valuable? And where have you over accommodated just to feel accepted? Let's unpack 5 truths that I think can help shift your perspective from performance back to your presence. Okay. Listen, you are not a reward. you, your worth is not a reward. I'm sorry. Your worth is not a reward. It is your foundation. You don't become worthy after proving yourself. Okay. You don't become worthy after proving yourself. You guys, I am so like, let me move my camera and see if it's going to bring me back to the middle of the screen. Okay. There we go. All right. So your worth is not a reward, it's your foundation. So you don't become worthy after proving yourself. You begin with worth. All right. You begin with worth. That is your starting point, not your prize at the end of your performance. So you don't have to earn what was already given to you. It's your birthright. All right. You just have to agree, right, that you're already worthy. You need to agree with that. All right. Number 2, approval is not a substitute for self acceptance. All right. So the likes, the praises, and the nods of affirmation, they feel good, but they won't sustain you. All right. And how do we know this? Because you're continuing to look for the likes, the approval, and the affirmation. Listen, if you don't accept yourself, external validation will always feel temporary. All right. And this is that insatiableness. And when I say insatiable, it just means it's a black hole, right? It's an empty pot, right? You can pour water into you, but you will never fill up because the source within, right, is not full. We're looking for a match. Okay. So and that is where the multiplication happened, where 2 or more in agreement, right? So you believe it, and then it's affirmed externally. And that is the sealing up. That's the wholeness of the thing that you can stand in. And so it's not about performing, right? It's not about performing. It's about you knowing it. So when you stand in your truth, you stop needing applause to feel secure. Now, if your love language is words of affirmation, of course, then they feel good, but they're not there to validate you or anything like that. It's more like yeah, a compliment, right? It's more like a season on meat. Salt doesn't make chicken, right? Pepper doesn't make chicken, right? It just make it kind of taste better. All right. And so we're looking for the external world to, in a sense, season us, right? But not really give us our flavor, right? Because chicken has its own flavor, steak has its own flavor, So you have to find what your flavor is. And then our external world is like the seasoning, right? It comes in and it, in a sense, it magnifies us or yeah, just add some seasoning to us, but it doesn't give us our flavor. All right. Number 3, over functioning is not your identity. All right. You are not the fixer. You are not the strong one. These roles might have helped you in survival, but they are not who you are. Okay. You are not responsible for everyone's peace. Again, you are not everyone's emotional armor. All right. Only you're not responsible for everyone else's pieces. You are only responsible for your own alignment. All right. I want you to sit in that for a minute. Okay, because you are only responsible for your alignment. All right. And so your first work should be home, right? It should be with you. All right. And a lot of us are trying to fix everyone else. If I fix him, if I fix the kids, if I fix, my boss, then I'll be okay. And it's like, no, if you fix you, right? If you become responsible for you, if you learn how to respond with you, right? If you pour into you and not in a selfish way, but truly in an integritous way, right? Because you were called to serve a certain set of individuals, right? If it's your kids, if it's your mate, if it's in your career, right? Remember, we talked about those different gifts, right? So you are gifted, but you still need to be, full, right, in yourself so that you can serve and it not, take so much from you. All right. Number 4, you can rest and still be valuable. Listen, you don't become lazy when you rest. You become anchored. All right. And your value is not diminished by stillness. All right. So sometimes the most productive thing that you can do in this life is just to be. All right. Just to be you. All right. Number 5, you don't have to earn what God already gave you. All right. You are already loved. You are already chosen, and you are already enough. God didn't wait for you to perform to declare your value. So start rehearsing for a role He already cast you for, which is worthy, Okay. I want to say this: you don't have to prove that you belong, because proving breeds anxiety and embracing builds peace. So here's the real value in this statement: identity rooted in truth really creates emotional freedom. All right. I once had a testimony from one of my clients that said, once I stopped trying to earn love, I started to feel safe in my own skin. All right. And research supports this by saying chronic approval seeking is linked to anxiety and burnout. Self-acceptance, though, it actually fosters higher emotional regulation, resilience, and relational health. All right, peace isn't something that you perform for; it's something that you practice. All right, it's something that you practice. So today, our focus is on our love of self. All right. It's so important that we get back in relationship with who we are. A lot of times we're looking for the love of everyone else. We're looking for our enoughness, right? In our material world, in our financial world, in our business endeavors, in our educational pursuits, right? In our relationships and the titles that we hold. And all of that is all right, right? That's the doing part. And we got to do that, okay? Because life is about being of service, and it is about that. But we jump over the main thing, which is being you. All right, it's in your beingness, right? It's being present with yourself. It's being able to be quiet with yourself. It's being able to be emotional. It's being able to feel all the range of emotions that you have, right? And not flee and hide from that. All right. So here's 10 truths I want you to know. Worth is not something you earn, it's something to be remembered. Okay. You don't lose your worth. You just forgot it in all the noise of the performance. All right. So you didn't lose it, right? You didn't lose your worth. You just forgot it in the noise of the performance. Let this week be a reminder of what's always been true. You started off worthy, all right? From the day you was born, from the day you was conceived, you were worthy, all right? Number 2, you are already enough. Right now, not when you fix yourself, all right? Not when you finish the list. Now, this this day, you are already enough. Enough is not earned, it is accepted. And I want to ask you, can you accept that you are already enough? And if that's difficult for you to accept, that's okay. All right, that's okay. But this is where I say, hey, go seek some help. Go seek some things so you can start unpacking that and getting all your senses involved, right? And retraining your nervous system, because when you start to do that, you will notice that the way you handle life is different, right? It's not that life is not going to be lifing, but just the way you handle it is from a different level and a different perspective. Number 3, love does not require performance, all right? It does not require performance. And I know that we are in a culture that is so performance based. Like, what do you bring to the table? What do you have to offer me? And just that right there is such a misalignment, because truly you can't really experience no one else's love. And you've heard me say this before. The only love that you can experience is your own, which is why I'm gonna have you, and I just pause and think about this. Have you ever had somebody who really liked you, right? Deemed that they loved you, right? And it was just like, hmm, okay, thank you. I love you too, right? You didn't feel it, right? And they, I just feel like you're the one for me. I just, you just do something for me, right? All of that, right? And they're experiencing that in their body from who you are, and how you show up. Now, let's reverse it. Have you ever loved someone, right? your kids, a mate, or whatever, right? You felt that love, right? You experienced this love, right? Now, if you did that for a person that just say y'all couldn't reconcile your relationship, you would wonder, like, this person may even know how much I love them. No, they don't. They don't know how much you love them, right? Because your love is for you. Or you may say that about your kids, like, my kids really just don't understand how I'm so protective of them and how much I love them. They don't, because that is yours. Okay. That is your love. And the goal in life is to not let anyone steal that. All right, because that's yours to experience, which is why falling in love is so fun, right? I always say, people ask me, you know, why aren't you married? Right. And I'm like, I like the process of falling in love. Right. And I think my husband will love the process of falling in love, and we will continue to fall in love over and over and over again. And not the mushy, like, kind of love, but I just love the process of falling in love. Right. I love the excitement. You know, I generate energy, excuse me, I generate energy from creating. I'm so sorry. So I can get in front of a computer. I can get in front of a computer and I can work to the wee hours of the morning creating programs, creating solutions for my clients and things like that. I can do that all day. And I say that generates energy, right? So a lot of times I just need to get to the computer. It's like, all right, she goes to the office, because once I get to the computer, I can generate that. But it's something about falling in love for me, right? It is just this. I mean, I wake up like in the morning, I have energy, right? It's like that feeling of love is so, I don't know, integral to an energy that I didn't have to create. I didn't have to do anything to get that. It's just there. And so I love the process of love, right? And falling in love and getting to know someone. And like I said, people say, why are you single? And I'm like, I just, I like the process of falling in love. And when that season is over, and we can't reconcile our love, and even a process of falling in love, meaning not just our highs but our lows, right? How we handle our conflicts, how we handle our disagreements, that to me is love, right? So if you can be upset with me, and I know you upset with me, but you still gonna say, what do you want to eat? Or you know it's like, yeah, I'm mad, but I'm still coming, sleeping in the bed with you, right? It's just in how we handle our conflict. So I really love. And unfortunately or fortunately, my relationships have not weathered that enough, right? And so, and I do realize this, that love does not require performance. So, again, if you have to change, if you have to hide, if you have to over deliver to stay loved, it's not love, right? It's conditional tolerance, right? Real love sees the truth and it stays, right? It sees the truth of your ups, it sees the truth of your downs, it sees the truth of your struggles, it sees the truth of your growth, right? And even if it's challenged or, uncomfortable, love is the glue that kind of keeps it together. Okay. It keeps it together. Anything else is conditional. I remember, you know, dating and an individual is like, yeah, no, I'm gonna get back to my domesticated part. Like, something about cooking or whatever. And I was like, yeah, but I don't feel like I have to cook to prove my love, right? And a lot of us are performing in these ways, like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this to prove my love. I can love you and not do a dang thing, right? Like, and just be in love with you, right? I don't have to do anything to prove it. And how I know that is because I feel it, right? I feel it. All right. Let me move forward. Hustle is not a measure of holiness. All right. Listen, God doesn't require grind to approve you. All right. Spirit, spiritual worth is not measured by your exhaustion. Holiness happens in your rest too. All right. Number 5, grace is your default setting. All right. You wasn't built from shame. Grace is the operating system you were meant to run on. Okay. So reinstall it and let it be the thing that leads you again. All right. Number 6, rest is not indulgence, it's obedience. All right. If God rested, okay, if God rested, why do you feel guilty for needing a break? Rest is sacred. It's not extra. It is essential, right, for your being, for you to recalibrate, for the things that happen in your life that you cannot do, okay, on your own. All right. Number 7, you are not behind. Timelines really lie, right? There's gestational periods, all right? And so you just may be, if we give the tree analogy that I always give, you planted the seed, you may be in your roots, you may be in your trunk stage, you may be in your branches, you may be even in the leaves. Let me let you know the apple is coming, all right? And some gestational periods are longer than others. So you are not behind. Okay. You may see somebody else in their harvest and they may have their apple, and you may think, like, we started off at the same time. We did this, we need this. But your gestational period and what you're working through spiritually, emotionally, mentally may seem like a delay that's only preparing you for the hugeness of your blessing, of your harvest. All right. So timelines don't lie. God is not rushed. Neither should you be. All right. You are not off track. You are just figuring out your rhythm, right? So you can sit in it. All right. And each one of us has our own rhythm. All right. Number 8, softness is not weakness. You don't need to be hardened to be strong. Your gentleness is divine, and your tenderness, guess what? It is powerful. All right. It is powerful. And so let's sit in that. All right. Softness is not weak. It's not weak. All right. Number 9, you don't have to be needed to be loved. Listen, you don't have to earn a spot by being the fixer, by being the helper, by being the glue. You are worthy of love even when you have nothing to offer but yourself, And I think that's so powerful because a lot of times we come in like, what can I do? And, even myself, I had to learn, uh, what do I need to be? And sometimes it's just a silent support. Sometimes it's just my presence, right? Sometimes it's just me praying, right? Me praying for an individual or for myself. So again, you're not worthy of love even when you are still worthy of love even when you have nothing to offer. Yes, but yourself. Listen, it's all that me. That's all I got. It's me. All right. And then last but not least in this section, presence is more powerful than perfection. You know, your presence is the most powerful, one of the most powerful values that you have, or valuable or assets that you have. So perfection may impress other people, but your presence, all right, it transforms them. So you don't need to get it right to be right here. All right. You don't have to get it right to be right here. All right. Drop a heart in the chat if any of those 10 really hit you. All right. 1, 2, or if all 10 did. All right. So here's our biblical wisdom. Ephesians 2, 8 through 9. For it is by grace you have been saved through faith. And this is not from yourselves. This is the gift of God. This is the gift of God. All right. So this verse isn't about salvation alone. It's about identity. It reminds you that your worth is not something you hustle into. It was gifted to you, you guys, not because you earned it and not because you finally got it together, but simply because you are his. All right. You are a part of creation. All right. So you were never meant to strive from the beginning. You are always meant to receive it. All right. So you were never meant to strive for belonging. I'm sorry. You were never meant to strive for belonging from the beginning. You were always meant to receive it from the beginning. All right. Listen, the God in you doesn't wait for you to get it right before it shows up. Okay. It doesn't grade your identity on performance. It resides in you because of what it is and who he is. All right. And because of who you are to him. All right. So this verse really frees you from the pressure to really earn what God has already declared. All right. For what God has already declared. Again, Ephesians 2, 8 and 9. For it is by grace that you have been saved through faith. All right. And I love this because I watch Myron golden a lot, right? And this is one of the things that he talked about. This is one of the verses he brings up a lot. For it's by grace that you have been saved, not by what you do, right? Not by how you show up, not by how good you are, not by how evil you are. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say for how you behave, you have been saved, or for your performance with other people, you have been saved. It says, for it is by grace, right? The covering of those things, right? That you have been saved through faith, and this is not from yourself. So that grace, that faith and that grace that has saved you, guess what? That ain't even come from you. It is a gift from God. All right. So how does neuroscience support this? Living in a chronic state of earning means your nervous system activates, right? And living in a chronic state of earning keeps your nervous system activated, trapped in high cortisol levels, high stress, and overthinking. But when you shift into internalized worth, right, into grace as your emotional baseline, guess what? Your brain begins to rewire for peace, for regulation, and for clarity. Grace actually lowers anxiety. Worthiness stabilizes identity, and rest becomes safe. All right. All right. So, what what are you allowing grace to cover? All right. What are you allowing this gift that has been given to you to actually cover? All right. Or are you working so much that you're not allowing this gift of grace to be activated in your life? Okay. And it's activated whether you know it or not, but we have to make room for it. All right. Your promise verse. Your promise verse, Isaiah 30:15. In quietness and trust is your strength. All right. And quietness and trust is your strength. This is an invitation to surrender, not strive. All right. Your true strength, your emotional resilience, your clarity, and your power, it doesn't come from pressure. It comes from your presence, from your stillness, from trusting that what God has already said about you. So the less you hustle, the more you hear, and the more you trust, the more you rest. All right. The spirit within you doesn't speak through frantic movements, right? It speaks in moments of stillness. And its voice, that voice inside of you, God's voice, is not pushing you to perform. It's inviting you to be anchored in who you already are. And neuroscience supports this by saying stillness help regulates the brain's stress response. All right. It restores executive function, increases serotonin levels, and creates clarity. All right. So when you learn to be still, your body becomes safe enough to hear truth again. All right. So stillness doesn't mean doing nothing. It just means you're finally becoming present. All right. So here's my question. What would change in your life if you stopped trying to prove and started to believe? All right. So let's put this into action on today. Let's put this into action. I want you to name one area where you've been trying to prove your worth. All right. Write the truth down. Write the truth. I am already enough even when blank. All right. And then I want you to say it out loud. Let it land in your spirit. All right. Your journal prompt for today. Where have I tried? Where have I tied my worth to what I can do instead of who I am? All right. Your affirmation for today. I no longer perform my worth. I protect my peace and move with knowing that I am already enough. And here's our daily intention. Today, I let go of the need to prove and choose to rest in who I am or who I already am. And then that bonus challenge for you today. Spend 10 minutes doing something without productivity, just your presence. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel at I Am Shaping Solutions and invite a friend to the Elevate in Life with Sheila Little group. And I'm going to always do that challenge, that challenge and that charge. So I'm calling them asking what part of you already what part of you is ready to stop proving. The challenge is practice being instead of producing today, and then your charge. You are already enough. Now live like it and go shape your life. Listen, if this session really resonated with you and you're walking away with insight today, I want you to drop a fire in the chat and let's celebrate your growth together. All right. Celebrate your growth together. And in closing, you don't need another badge of approval. You just need permission to be, because you already have it. Now, tomorrow we're going to be talking about interactions with others. Really, shrinking doesn't make you feel safer or doesn't make you safer. How enoughness affects how you show up in your relationships. And here's your takeaway for today. Your takeaway is you don't have to prove who you are. You just have to be who you already are. All right. Remember, if you could shape it in your mind, you could have it in your life. I want you to know that I love you. I love you. I love you. And I will see you tomorrow for that life lesson.